to a brand new episode of FREAKQUELS, guaranteed to jack you up.
Excellent faculty reference, EJ.
Oh, thank you, sir. And with me today is, of course, my co-host with the most, Rory. How you doing, pal?
Doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing swell.
So excited to be back here.
Yes.
Rejects, inconveniencing business. To
Yes.
sit here and talk with you lovely people.
Same. And of course with us is the man that makes it happen, the podkeeper, Vince. So what's new with you guys? Anything cool since the last time I've talked with you guys?
The only
at
thing
all?
that I know is that we posted our very first podcast, which was the Evil Dead Rise episode. We're technically at episode 6 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we finally posted our first episode, so we're finally getting into it, and there's been some decent feedback from it, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, and the fact that everybody seems to be listening and enjoying it. I know I make a lot of jokes and I say stupid things all the time, but it really means a lot. And it's fun. It's fun to do this with these guys.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it. We appreciate anybody listening because this is just 3 certified goofballs, and it's just fun. So yeah.
It's also nice that in our own lives, generally speaking, when we're around people that we know, they're always telling us to shut up.
Yes.
So the fact that you guys are actually listening is
It's
nice.
great.
That's why we're doing this. It's like therapy.
We're doing it for you guys who like to listen to us.
Yeah.
And maybe.
Unless you just hate yourself and you're like, how can I punish myself today?
I'll listen to Freakquels.
Freakquels. God, that's like my form of torture, you know?
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of MTV's The Challenge. Yeah. That's what I'm into now.
My new thing.
That's my new thing.
I love
pretty
the
cool.
challenge.
Yeah.
I started with Road Rules, and
Yeah.
so I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
The wife and I are binging Survivor, so we're on season 17. We just watched the last 4 seasons. The wonderful thing about Survivor is we still have 32 seasons to binge.
Yes.
So that's great. So yeah, it's kind of like the challenge, but yeah, there's always some of it
There's a lot of people now that are from Survivor going
that are
onto
now
the
on.
challenge.
Yeah, which I like that.
Yeah, I thought that's kind of cool. But
I've been actually watching some stuff myself.
oh really?
Yeah.
Anything we can talk about on the podcast safely.
No. We're actually starting this new thing. It's called Freakquels After Hours.
I've been watching my neighbor from afar.
Who needs to stream when you've got binoculars?
Right. That's my form of streaming.
What I've been watching. I bought the Criterion box set of the John Cassavetes films, and they're fantastic. And he's rather important to film history because, I don't know how true this is. I'm sure somebody could fact check this and just tell me I'm wrong. But everything I've seen so far, he's one of the godfathers of independent cinema. The majority of his films, I guess, he just financed himself. So it's really neat watching a person who had not a lot of money put into his movies go a long way with them. And on the other end of things, when I'm not watching John Cassavetes, I've been binge watching The Golden Girls.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I watched the first episode and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Oh my God, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
I
I
want a T-shirt with Sophia's face on it.
she's the best.
I love her.
I kind of love Rose.
I do too. It's really hard to pick a favorite. Dorothy
I'm
is
kind of like a Blanche fan too.
and Dorothy's sometimes how I feel on the inside.
Because I love to talk Arrested Development. Jimmy Burrows, writer, showrunner for Golden Girls.
Really?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, what a
And then
brilliant
Arrested
man.
Development, and tons of things after that. But
So you're saying nothing really worked out for him?
No, he might make it. I
He
don't know
might
if he
make it.
tries.
Come on, Michael.
Is that your Will Arnett?
Yeah.
Perfect. That's good.
Sell me some
thanks.
Reese's.
But yeah, so today we are tackling a movie that is maybe a little bit on the legendary side.
It's essentially what happens when a studio exec fails to say, maybe we shouldn't.
Right. And it's the 10th installment to a very popular horror franchise. And first off, Vince, have you seen any of the Friday the 13th movies?
I think I've seen one of the originals, and I had to have Rory tell me earlier that Jason was actually part of the Friday the 13th because I said, because we were talking, I was like, yeah, Jason, and he was Friday the 13th. I was like, Yeah, I guess so. Sure. Okay. And then he confirmed it for me. So yes, Jason is part of the Friday 13th. And I think I've only seen one. I think I saw the original. This isn't Johnny Depp. This is the other one. Johnny Depp was in
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. Thank you. But I think I saw that original, and I don't remember any of it.
Oh, okay.
No?
So
No.
You don't remember Betsy Palmer just giving what is just an amazing performance?
right.
She lights that movie right up because some of
She
it's a
does.
little, and then she shows up and she's just, it's amazing. It's like an adrenaline shot right
She
in the
comes
heart.
in and she literally is the best part of the movie. I know she only took it so she could get money to buy a new car.
Or shoes or something.
Yeah, she was very adamant about saying that a lot. Like she's like, I only took the part for the money, but
Why else
but
did
she-
you act in a movie though?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. But I think this movie is I don't know. I'm gonna say maybe not the strongest of the franchise.
No.
know,
Yeah, not exactly. Not a high note, no.
All right.
Because it's not often that you run into somebody and you're like, hey, what's your favorite Friday the 13th movie? That they say, Jason X, top of the heap.
Yep. And today we are talking about Jason X.
Yeah! You asked for it.
Doing that
We gave it.
Degeneration X thing right now. We are talking about Jason X, and man, what a movie, if you want to call it that.
It came out in 2002,
Right.
the year that Halloween Resurrection said, you think that sucks.
Wait till you
Wait
get
till you see what I
this. But this takes place in space where horror franchises go in the 90s. Hellraiser, Leprechaun, and now Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees.
He's
So this-
just in space.
So this was a trend for horror movies to eventually. Is this jumping the shark for a horror franchise?
It's the last gasp of a dying franchise.
So it's
Yeah.
jumping the shark for a
They're
horror
like,
franchise.
all right, what should we do? Where should he go now?
Where
He's
would-
been at a lake for 9 movies. Where can he go now?
Where would you pinpoint is jumping the shark? Because I feel like we maybe jumped the shark prior to this film, if you can believe it.
I guess.
Even though I think the ones prior to this one are
are
infinitely
all-
better.
Yeah, they're all amazing.
But still, I would say that they
Comparison.
took some chances.
Yeah, I mean, Jason went to New York, and
Oh.
that was that was
Awesome.
his first time away from Camp Crystal
From
Lake.
the lake?
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, the later part of the franchise was just basically Jason on vacation. Because it was Jason takes Manhattan, Jason goes to hell, Jason goes to outer space, and then he takes a nice little stroll over to Springwood.
Yep.
So essentially the Muppets franchise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's just one of those movies where I wasn't 18 yet, so I actually had to buy, I think it was for like a ticket for On the Line, which is like Lance Bass movie.
Did
Did
the
you
same
sneak
thing.
into a movie?
And-
I did the same
And
thing.
I snuck into Jason X.
That is amazing.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny though? That those ushers would never think to look for you in there.
No, because it's like,
You snuck into this?
yeah, this why?
Yeah, we got other options, you know.
You know, like Gangs of New York is coming out soon. You can just wait in line for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this movie, as far as all the Friday the 13th movies, this is definitely my least favorite in that franchise.
Where would you say the franchise was at this point?
I mean, honestly, when Jason Goes to Hell came out,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great, and I was like, okay, that's like
I'm also a fan.
a good farewell to the character, but they could always bring it back, and if they did like 5 more movies at the camp, I would be like, oh, this is great, keep going.
Speaking of your thing with Muppets,
Yes.
how about those Muppet hands dragging them to hell at the end of Jason
Yeah,
Goes to Hell?
you can tell you're like
Jim
oh,
Henson showed up. He's just like,
Interesting,
guys,
yeah.
I know you want to use these cool effects, but I got Muppet hands.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Ghost. Remember, like the demons and ghosts? It's just like shadows. They're like, we'll just put little red eyes on them.
Which, by the way, Ghost is just a fantastic movie.
Still holds
so
up.
good.
I love that
Still
movie.
holds up. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like one of those things where it's like I've said make like a top 100 movies.
That
I'd
would
stick
be
that
in there? Yeah.
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 Had an
Um,
effect on me as a child.
Also gave me an irrational fear of broken glass, which maybe not irrational.
And it's also made a weird thing for us at Three Jacks because sometimes I come in here and you're just doing pottery. Yeah, shirt off.
I mean, it's not as weird as when you take your shirt off and come right behind me and help me mold.
Yeah.
It's not, but that's
Some people
okay.
find it beautiful, but not many,
Not many. No,
and
not-
none that I've ever met.
No, they all leave immediately. They
Actually,
walk in, they
people
see
drink
what they got.
more when we do that, so it's actually
That's true.
really helping the business.
And the jukebox just goes wild with the Righteous Brothers.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing but.
We got to put some more music in there.
Yeah.
Just
Other
that one
than
track.
Righteous-
That's the only
That's all
song
we
you
have.
have there.
Just play anything you want, as long as it's
All
right.
right.
Some couples
Makes
like,
more
hey, honey,
sense.
they're playing our song. You're not special. We're just cheap.
Sam. No, I love the movie Ghost, but back to the movie. So the movie begins at a research facility where people don't want Jason frozen; they want him soft.
Which is
David
weird, by the
Cronenberg
way. Did you catch where the facility was?
in Scranton.
It was in Scranton.
Yeah.
I smell a cool office crossover. Jason takes Dunder Mifflin.
He's just like goes in and he's just
Yeah,
chopping up.
and then Jim
Like,
looks to the
Put
camera.
this guy on fast. Get him over there. Yeah, so Jason, after having this argument on where they should place Jason, they decide to move him to the Scranton facility. However, Jason frees himself and starts killing a bunch of the guards and David Cronenberg too, which is a cool cameo.
The Fly.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see that because when I saw him, I was like, I think that's Cronenberg, The Fly, and that was cool to see him and
Yeah.
also to see him get killed.
Yeah.
In my notes, it says David Cronenberg. What a stud.
Yeah, and I love that he's like, we don't want him. We want him soft. Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
David, what do you have planned for Jason?
Yeah, what is going down?
But had he not said, I want him soft, would you remember it?
Nope.
Nope.
There is a lot of dialogue in this movie that I actually wrote down a lot of lines
Oh,
from
yeah,
this
me
movie
too.
that I was
Yeah,
like,
we all did.
okay, okay, that was a line. That was dialogue. So Jason chases down Rowan, who's the scientist who was against moving Jason. She finds a good hiding spot in the cryo chamber, and they both, after like a little bit of a scuffle, get frozen in the cryo chamber.
My first thought was when she grabbed the gun and she started to run away from him, I was like, this is already terrible. And then
Yeah.
I realized that she was luring him into that room only to get him into the cryo chamber, which I thought
Right.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, it's already starting off stupid where someone's running away and he's going to chase after him. But I didn't realize that she was actually trying to get him in there, which I thought was great because it twisted it for me.
Lexa Doig doesn't
Yeah.
mess around.
No.
And for a scientist, she's pretty good with the shotgun.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh,
She's like,
later on in the movie, she's able to operate that space gun.
I'm pretty sure she did a one-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pump,
with the
right?
cocking of the
Yeah.
shotgun, yes.
Yeah. So years go by.
Oh, wait, real quick, before
yeah.
we go through with anything. How did you feel about the logic of cryostasis in this film?
So, I mean, a lot of logic is not present
I
in
know,
this
because it's called
movie.
Jason X. So
Yeah.
automatically I should just
Just
take
like-
back my question.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, how do you feel about the reality of Jason X?
Like, I would say that door was at least like 15 inches thick of steel, right? And he just stabs. He uses his machete.
I just
and
thought it was
stabs
made of
right
chocolate.
through it. Yeah, it, was like,
it was like-
it basically looked like it was made of chocolate. The way he sliced right through that.
I wanted to ask you that question. I had a very long-winded way to eventually get to the point where I said, they pan over and Jason is frozen next to Philip J. Fry. It was a long way to get to that punchline. I didn't feel like taking the walk. So I just
That's
gave
all
it to
right.
you.
Hey, shortcuts are great. But yeah, so years go by, and a bunch of students find the cryo chamber, and they first discover Jason, and by the way, just for the hockey fans out there, there's only 1 year left of hockey before it gets
2024.
banned.
It's outlawed. Outlawed in 2024. That's in my notes.
And you know what's real cool?
What's
They
that?
forgot to shut the electricity off
Right.
when the world ended.
The world ended.
Everything's
This
still
cryo
going.
chamber's
Everything's
still
still running.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's gone. Like anything above ground is just gone when we see it. But this cryo chamber,
Still
no
going.
worries. Has a couple spider webs, but other than that, it's looking pretty good.
Would have been a great commercial for PP&L.
Right. It's like leave the light on.
I did.
Yeah.
I did love the outfits of the students with the goggles. It was very. Did you ever see the movie Nine?
Oh,
It was very
yeah.
Nine-esque with the goggles and how they
Yeah,
looked.
and they're
very,
like little puppet.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
To go back, that opening scene. Again, I'm always big into how things look. I thought this thing was like from that opening scene of Jason in that room. I thought it was beautiful, like just the cinematography. And the other thing that I noticed at the beginning was the lead in with all of the credits and Jason and the little bit of backstory, the montage that was in that. I thought that was beautiful. So I went through it and I looked for Toy Box digital design. They apparently don't exist anymore.
Oh.
So the company that did all those digital effects that I thought were fantastic.
Because
They-
Jason X was the only movie on their resume.
Correct.
Well, how about this? So you love the way the beginning
It was
looked.
beautiful.
So when we get into space, did it bug you that it took on the look of a late night Cinemax skin flick?
Yes, it looked very soap opera.
Someone
TV
said that to me when I was in high school, and I
TV
never got it out of my head.
Star Trek-ish, yeah. They could have done stuff with the lighting and to make it look a little more authentic, but I got past it because
Yeah, who
apparently
cares?
you guys, you already told me that it is what it is.
Yeah.
But no.
Don't. Yeah.
so-
I mean, here's the thing with this movie: do not go into it with like the snooty film thing. You just have to accept it. It's
Yeah.
like already being in the midst of a car accident.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
happening.
It's gonna happen. Just let it happen.
the natural course. Don't thrash around. It's just
Yes.
it is what it is.
Don't tense
and
your
you'll be
body
dead
up.
soon.
Don't tense your body up. Don't resist.
Don't resist. Just accept your fate.
Yes.
Yes. So, as they're looking around, Azrael, who looks a lot like Timothy Chalamet.
He does.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
did you guys think that too? I was like, how you doing? Right? Like, because it's like the Dune. Sorry.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Oh, dude.
Right?
Fantastic.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. But he gets a mug frozen to his hand. So the professor's like, don't touch anything. And then there just happens to be a mug that lasted the apocalypse. And in a cryo chamber, for some reason, he gets his hand stuck to it. And then he's like, oh, I can't get it off. And then he starts smashing it against the cryo chamber where Jason is. And so he's like, bah, bah, bah. And finally, he goes to hit it one more time, and Jason falls. And the way the blade was
The
positioned,
machete
like,
that frozen Jason is holding falls forward and cuts off Timothy Chalamet's arm. And he's like, ah! And he falls to the ground. And the mug is gone, which is good. He did get it off. But
Jason should be like, let me help you with that.
yeah, I got that for you. Not a bad guy after all. But yeah, so then the group takes Jason and they also find Ronan too, the nerdy guy. I can't think of his name. The one with the robot.
The one in love with KM14
Yeah, KM.
or whatever. KM14?
The one that I thought for the longest time was the roommate in Boy Meets World in
Yes.
the later seasons. I thought that was Rachel for the longest
Yeah,
time.
you know, it kind of does look like
It's not her.
but yeah. So they round the two up, like Jason and Rowan, the scientist who caught Jason in the first place, and they take them aboard their ship, and they rush them to the med bay, and as they thaw them out, Azrael Chalamet gets his arm
Reattached?
repaired. Yeah, reattached. Because they have the technology, which obviously is like, oh, hey, this is probably going to be useful later.
Too bad those ants couldn't heal the damage this film did to the franchise.
Wouldn't it be funny if the nanotech just like wiped over the screen and then a brand new movie appeared and it was like the best movie you ever watched?
Yeah.
That would be incredible technology.
It would be.
But they end up waking up Rowan, and she finds out she was frozen for at least 400 years.
And I started thinking to myself, this is the weirdest episode of Firefly I've ever seen.
Right? Yeah.
'Cause it kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, it does. And then,
The outfits gave it that vibe.
It did.
Yes.
yeah. Oh, definitely. Sweater vests are like very popular that year.
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone
Yeah,
was
I was
rocking
a
sweater
big fan.
vests.
I was a big fan of all the outfits.
Yeah.
I was like really like hyper fixating on them.
There was
Yeah.
a scene at the end where there's a guy in a green vest, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, where have I seen that before? And then I remembered where I saw it. It was. Do you ever see the carpet that like old people put around their toilet?
Yeah.
That's
That's-
exactly what that dude's
that's what
vest
that
looked like.
is,
That's I think that's where they got it from.
I think that's Baby Gap. Yeah.
Maybe. Schmedium.
It's a visual.
medium.
It's a visual reminder of what you're watching.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like just walk into your bathroom and
Yeah.
look down at the toilet.
The thing
and
at the.
you'll just be reminded of Jason X. So the teacher slash professor reaches out via video phone, and he finds out that Jason is actually worth a ton of money. And as he's talking to this random guy, they never really address their relationship or like who this person really is.
I was interested to know all about that guy.
Yeah, he's just. And first off, so he answers the video phone, and he's just laying in bed like this.
Yeah.
Like not even like not like he sits up. He's not like he doesn't move at all. He's literally laying on his side, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?"
Do you think they forgot to cast somebody, and so they had to call up a producer, and they're like, "Dude, we forgot to cast this guy." I'm like, "Will you play him?" He's like, "What? I'm not playing him. It's 3 a.m. It's like, "Dude, we need to do this now. It's gonna
Right,
cost us
sitting over a
millions."
cameraman.
Oh, fine. He's like sleeping in bed. He's like, "What? Oh, God, this dialogue sucks. I don't want to know this."
Sucks. Yeah. But he's like, yeah, we found someone named Voorhees. It's like, Jason Voorhees, serial killer from 400 years ago? Luckily, I know about serial killers from 400 years
Yeah.
ago.
Then like the professor actually ended up calling the police, and they're like, "You should probably keep an eye on this guy."
If the professor was smart. But he pulls a Burke from Aliens, and he's just like obsessed with trying to preserve Jason from like that point on.
Can I ask you a thing before we go forward? How did you guys feel about the scene when they told Rowan, her name is, right?
Yeah.
Because I forget all these people's names. The part where they told Rowan, like, you have woken up 400 years into the future, and your student loans were not canceled.
Yeah.
They're still
owe
there.
money.
They are still
owe
active.
money. Not only that,
You've collected interest.
you've accrued interest over 455 years.
You will literally be buried alive
Yes.
in this debt.
and you cannot do forbearance. You're
No.
done.
And these ants, they cannot help you.
Nope. You're on your own.
They cannot help. The ants cannot repair your bank account.
Yeah.
Sally Mae.
Sally Mae.
Navian.
Yeah, all the way in space. They're just gonna send stuff right up, right there. This is how much you owe. Here's your
As
first
soon
bill.
as she
It's
woke
just like,
I
up,
don't
her
even
cell
have to
phone
try
rings.
on.
It's like, hey, would you like to consolidate your loan? She's like, really?
Really?
Oh,
What about
God.
my parents and all my family? No. Loans.
The loans first. Let's
Everything else you can get away
Let's
from.
talk about loans. So, as soon as the video call ends, in walks one of his students, and she's like, "Hey, you ready to give me that grade now?" And then she pulls out a bottle of wine and like a nutcracker.
Forceps, I believe. I believe
Or
they're forceps.
forceps?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's like, "Hey, check this out," doop doop, and I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "Oh, I think I see what's about to happen here." But meanwhile, in the lab, the doctor, the one working on Jason, like thawing him out,
Blonde
she-
doctor.
the
Blonde
blonde
doctor.
doctor, she's like cutting,
Who is-
removing like Jason's mask.
Who is fantastic? Who's a fantastic actor? I was very upset with what inevitably happens to her. I hoped she stuck around in the movie a lot longer.
I would
She was
say she
actually
was
really good, yeah.
weirdly sympathetic.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
everybody else is kind of like a bunch of frat boys.
Yeah,
And she's just
yeah.
kind of like, oh, you know, there's a body on that table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She seemed like a little bit more compassionate. Even like when she took his mask off.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, you poor baby."
Yeah.
And Jason's just like, "Whoa,
Whoa, all
That's
right.
that's a little too much. I mean,
Yeah.
harsh."
So,
Can I see a mirror? Oh my God, that's what I look like.
yeah.
Give
So
me that mask back.
then it cuts back to the professor who is hooking up with this student. I think her name's
doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter. And and he's getting his nipples clamped while
the
he's
forceps, yeah.
yeah, with the forceps.
Proper technique.
And-
Excellent technique, by the way.
And he gives her a passing grade, so I guess that works. So make sure if you're out there and you're worried about
It was like it was opposite Gandalf. Do you know what I mean? Like imagine you share, but it was the opposite. Yeah.
yeah, he definitely delivered it just like that.
And she was going after his ball rod.
yeah. Damn.
Come on, that was all
Yeah,
just a
that's
lot
good.
of greatness that
That
we all
was-
just
it was-
collectively did together.
That was outstanding.
And
was
our
not-
subscribers have now officially gone down.
yeah. Meanwhile, in the lab, Jason is slowly thawing out, oozing away again in Margaritaville. Oozing
Too soon.
away again in Margaritaville.
Too soon. Too soon.
Sorry.
Is there a reason his blood is not red? That color? Is it just is there lore to that? Because that I don't
can
know
explain
why,
it.
but that was something.
Yeah,
Please.
I can explain. Jason X.
Okay. Got
Yeah.
it. Moving
Also,
on.
Jason was human for a while until part 6. Then he came back as a zombified Jason. And he became unkillable at that point,
Okay.
right?
I repeat, Jason X.
Jason X.
All right.
So we jump over to the rest of the students.
Thank you for not answering my question.
And one is trying to fix his robot girlfriend with like a nipple problem.
Cam 14.
A lot of nipple action in this movie.
Yeah.
By the way, like
There's a lot going on with nipples.
I don't know if that is kind of like possibly the theme.
I think this movie had everything. The severed heads, premarital sex, a yearning for human udders, and Dan Cortez. It was amazing.
Dan Cortez.
I didn't understand because my whole thing was he essentially, it's his robot, right?
Right.
He programmed the robot. He built her.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have a nipple fetish. He has a non-nipple fetish.
Right.
I don't know why I hyperfixated on that, but the entire time watching this, like she may want nipples, but he doesn't want her to have nipples
Right.
because otherwise he'd have programmed that into her.
You know what I was thinking about? I went a little different.
Go ahead.
For me, I was like, man, he built an entire lifelike human robot, but the nipple technology just wasn't
It's just
there
not
yet.
It's not
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Maybe-
For me, I was just like, Jason X is weird. That's my take. But so Jason wakes up and he actually kills the woman who was trying to thaw him out, like this doctor. And I think it's like one of the most brutal murders in the movie too, right?
It's iconic too, I would say.
yeah.
For like within like for horror fans,
yeah.
that's a favorite.
Yeah, that's
So-
a favorite kill.
I've never seen this movie before, but I am a fellow nerd in the sense that I used to watch this show called Mythbusters.
Yeah.
And Mythbusters did an episode on whether or not this was possible to freeze a human's
Face?
skull and then smash it, and if it were to break like that.
Now, did they try using a real human being?
They used that ballistic. I
Oh.
I didn't see the full unedited version, but no, they just used like ballistic gel to figure it out, and it was I think it's called inconclusive or non-conclusive, whatever it was. But when I was watching the scene, I was like, oh my god, I know that. I actually know what that's from, which
Yeah.
was the best way I've ever seen anybody die in a movie ever.
Yeah,
See,
right.
Apart from like Steven Seagal, the way he kills people,
Right.
this was phenomenal.
In my
Yeah.
notes, I put liquid nitrogen kill, chef's kiss.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful. It was awesome.
See, I'm a fan of throat rips myself. Mr. Patrick Swayze, it was all about that in the
sure.
Roadhouse?
Yeah, Roadhouse
Yeah.
movies.
Roadhouse.
But this kill, great movie. Yeah, great kill.
Yeah.
But Jason ends up roaming the ship, and meanwhile, Rowan is discussing with the professor the fun history of Jason. Like, we try to do this to him, we try to do that to him, and he just won't die.
And the fact that no one will listen to you when we're saying there's no way to kill this guy, we need to escape and get away.
yeah,
But no, there's always that one guy that's, no, I can do
no,
it.
we got this. We're in the future.
can continue.
He's a caveman. We got this.
We
Her
just want him
di-
soft.
It's Encino Man.
Her
Yeah.
dialogue in that scene made me laugh because I'm going to paraphrase this. I'm probably going to butcher it a little bit. They say something about how he was too valuable to just file away. In the end, it always comes down to money. And I'm like, this is the most self-aware film ever.
Are you talking about the film or are you talking about the dialogue in
That's
the
the
movie?
dialogue
Oh, okay.
in the movie.
Yeah.
I would
Sometimes
like
the
to-
movie is talking about
They know.
itself.
They know
Yeah,
what they're doing.
I would like to imagine the screenwriter. That was his discussion with the producers. He's like, why are we doing this? Why are we going to space? And then he's like,
He's too
sometimes
valuable to file away."
it just comes down to money. So the professor, he starts to introduce Rowan to the crew, and they have everyone you need: a sergeant, a nerd, a robot, a student who bangs her professor, a guy who just carries Jason's machete from room to room. Hey, I found this machete.
The plot's going to need this at some point.
I'm like, why is he just, he's just going around the ship and he's like, hey, I have Jason's machete. And
I've
it's
never
just
seen
like,
one of these before.
Right. So Rowan,
vintage.
vintage. I'm gonna sell this on eBay. So Rowan then suggests Jason is still dangerous, and they find the scientist who got her face bashed in. They rush to that lab, and they find her dead body. So,
And they fired her, didn't they?
oh
for
yeah,
sleeping on the
they're
job?
like, oh yeah, you're let go now. Sorry, sorry. And you still owe on your student loan. So then Jason then kills this random student. I guess his name was Stony, as the girlfriend said. She's like, oh no, he killed Stony. Stony is dead. And it was like, Stony is his name? Interesting.
I'd rather Stony than Azrael, to be
Yeah.
honest. To be fair.
Stony, Azrael, the cat from Smurfs.
See, weird fact. Literally, this is a real thing. Last night I watched Jason X. The night before, I rewatched Dogma, and there was a character named
Azrael.
Azrael in Dogma.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
Yeah. So
I don't know why you even brought that up.
Well, Dogma's a great movie,
Yeah.
and plus I'm wearing
The
our
Snodcast. We're gonna talk
Snodcast
about that
thing.
later.
Yeah.
I got things to say.
Ooh. All right.
I thought you were just trying to ruin the podcast, but whatever.
Hey, for the record, the owner of Three Jacks just walked in.
Don't look him directly in the eyes.
And he is handsome today.
God.
Today and
Every
always.
day.
Every day. So the sergeant takes this team of grunts to find Jason, while all the students and the professor report to Lab 1. So down on the holodeck, Jason interrupts Azrael and his buddy, Timothy Chalamet's character.
In the danger room?
In the danger room, basically, yeah. And killing him and his buddy. They're like, hey, cut it out, man. You're ruining the game. And then he just slices them. Well, actually, he breaks his back. He just gives him a backbreaker.
Was that, that was Bane-esque, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just make sure I'm not the only one that saw that and
It's a term
thought that.
now.
Yeah, he
Bane-esque.
Bane-esque. You like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I also have my notes.
Lay off the venom.
I have my notes that says the CG is wildly embarrassing.
Yeah, it's
Are you-
actually
are for the-
better.
For the monsters?
For the VR?
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's like a video game and it's not
Yeah.
reality and it's not supposed to.
Let me rag on this film, Vince.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
So then the professor asks the sergeant not to kill Jason Voorhees, and terribly, mind you, negotiates how he's like, I'll give you $1,000 or $100,000, 200, 300, 400. $500,000, and then he's like, okay, he did not.
He didn't even give him a chance to respond at 200, 300, or 400. Then he went right to 500.
He's like, I'll give you 2, 3, 4, 500.
Guys, he's a professor, not a business major.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So
Hey,
the sergeant
real quick
agrees.
before we move past the danger room,
Oh yeah.
there was another line in it that made me laugh really hard. He goes, "I think we need to reboot," and again, very self-aware film.
For the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another, I think that's just notes from the the producers
Yeah.
and the screenwriters were like, oh, okay.
They just
we'll
thought it was part of the
add
script.
that part of
They
the
knew.
script,
They knew.
yeah. I think that's what it was. So as the grunts are looking for Jason, Jason is found in the botany lab actually, and they just start to blow him away. They're just like, brrr, like shooting him, and then but as the smoke clears, they cannot find his body.
This is when they're Jason's attacking clutch.
Clutch.
Clutch. Yes.
Jason X.
Jason X. So then, so one by one, Jason starts to take them out. Condor gets screwed, which is
One of the greatest lines of a movie of
yeah.
all time.
They're like, "Where's Condor?" And then the one girl, she goes, "He's screwed, sir. He's screwed."
And then,
'Cause
As he's spinning,
laying
which is
on
great,
a
yeah.
screw, yeah.
and then someone says, "Too soon."
too soon. Yeah.
Hey, I put in my
what-
notes here.
yes.
It says it's 10:21 p.m. and I just realized that I'm watching Jason X. My parents may have passed on, but somehow I know they're probably ashamed of me for doing this.
To be fair, if they were alive, they would still be ashamed of you.
Ah, too mean.
Too late. No, I'm just kidding. So Spin's neck is broken. Gecko gets her throat slit. Briggs, I think Briggs is the one that said he's screwed, sir. She gets hooked, like thrown on a hook.
Why are those things there?
Yeah, I don't know.
What are those things there for?
What are in the
And-
holodeck room?
and-
I don't know.
Who is in charge of OSHA violations there? Because the number of sharp objects that are just left out.
Like that giant screw. What is that?
Why is
what
that
is
there?
that
What
for?
purpose did that
What purpose
serve?
did that serve?
What is the purpose of that?
Well, actually, it might be for like a very large wine bottle.
There you go.
You
All right.
stick it in.
I can get on board with that.
What is that for?
Once again, I ask.
So
what
then finally
is
the
that
sergeant
for?
comes face to face. Well, not really, but with Jason, and he gets stabbed through the stomach. He's like, "Oh, it's gonna take more than that to bring this old dog down." And then Jason stabs him again, and he goes, "Yeah, that ought to do it." And I was like, "This is great. I am on board with this movie."
I was on board as well. That was
Yeah.
fantastic.
I like all the
everything I
quipping.
needed.
And again, I'm like, weirdest
Ugh.
episode of Firefly I've ever seen.
Yeah, again,
So quippy.
just super quippy. So then Jason then kills the pilot, which actually I really enjoyed the pilot. We didn't really talk about him much.
Is
but
he the possibly sex pervert, sex pest?
He's like, "Oh, is the girl hot?"
girl?
And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, I'm so lonely."
So
Yeah.
lonely.
yeah. He's
With,
like,
with a cowboy
So-
hat made of plastic.
Yeah.
So let me backtrack. Not a sex pest, just probably lonely.
Yeah.
right, just a lonely guy.
Miserable man.
Self-admitted
Yeah.
lonely
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, and he knows he's probably been in space for too long.
He knows what he wants. He knows what he's into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Jason then kills the pilot, which results into the Grindel, which is the name of the ship, crashing into like this colony named Solaris, like a
Solaris.
space,
Yes,
Solaris
a space station named
station.
Solaris.
And so it literally like just glides its way through the space station, killing this whole colony of people. Who knows how many people were probably on that space station? But you have to figure there was probably at least 100 or more.
At least 7.
At least 7 or 7.
All
So-
1 day away from graduation.
One day away from
all-
graduation.
So all their loans.
All their
I,
loans.
I watched the behind the scenes on that, and that was a miniature, and that was actually really cool the way that they did that, the way the spaceship, because they made really tiny miniatures, and then they literally crashed it into it and just slowed it down, which was awesome.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
watched it behind the scenes on this
Bro,
movie?
I'm prepared.
You came in
You talk
prepared.
about
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty. I never watched any of the behind
No.
the scenes for this movie.
I've literally
owned it
like
on
me
DVD.
watching this movie was like, me getting a shot. It's like, let's just get it over with.
So
Yeah.
not only did I
just
waste my
kidding.
life on the movie itself, I wasted even more of my life on the behind the scenes.
Is that why your face was tear stained when I got in here?
Yeah, I've been
Okay.
crying for the last 48 hours.
I thought you were sweating like profusely.
It's all of that. It's all of it, Norm. One of the things that I read was that the previous producer of this hired his son to produce Jason X.
Was it Sean Cunningham? Wasn't it his son?
Something like, or director produced, but somebody hired their son to do it. And this was also the largest budget of any Jason film thus far. And
Wow.
somehow they still bombed. Which is amazing because yesterday I'm thinking that the podcast is yesterday because I showed up yesterday to do the podcast, and in the meantime I watched the movie and I'm scrambling, and the wife is trying to help me find where to stream this from, and she happens upon IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, and she goes, "This movie's rated 19 on Rotten Tomatoes. You're gonna watch it?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's the point of the podcast." You
19?
don't get it. I think it was like 19 or 18. Yeah,
19
Like
fresh.
19%?
19%.
But
on
that's
Rotten
fresh.
Tomatoes. That's fresh.
Is it weird that I'm shocked by how high that is?
High 90.
Yeah.
After watching
Compared to
it,
some other movies.
yeah, after watching
Yeah.
it, I understand your shock, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting because I would expect it to be like
Lower, way
yeah.
lower.
Yeah.
Again, I enjoyed it.
So
I
there
thought
were,
it was
like,
beautifully shot.
There
And-
were like people reviewing this movie and they're like, it's okay, it's got its merit.
I'm also
Someone out there was like, good movie. My favorite horror space thing since Alien, you know?
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah. They just went to the movie, they got their popcorn, their soda, they watched it, went home to their like typewriter, I would imagine at that time.
Yes, it was
and they're
definitely
like,
a typewriter.
great movie.
oh, you know what? You know what they probably did? They probably had the screening. They probably made it so that it was like super late. So by the time it was over, all the reviewers were kind of tired.
Yeah,
And they
they
went
fell
home. They're
asleep.
like, oh, yeah, it was all, it's okay.
Oh, maybe they fell asleep in the theater,
Yeah.
and they were too embarrassed to go. Like,
Oh.
I should just write a nice review.
Oh, I think that the franchise has found its footing in space.
yeah, yeah. I'd like to see more in space
Oh.
movies.
The special effects were astounding.
This is what I'm talking about.
And then, like, on their notebook, there's just like a drool spot.
Yeah.
I can't read the rest of my review. There's too much drool.
Now, back to the movie. Now all that remains are Rowan and the students and Professor. So Jason actually
Is this the scene where they're all just, like, standing around?
in the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I referred to it as the AA scene. I don't know why. But I wonder if any of the actors think to themselves today, I was in Jason X, as they put away product at the Targets that they work at.
Oh no! I'm sure they're probably still working somewhere.
Name a movie.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I didn't look.
Between the two of us, we've seen a lot of movies.
yeah.
Can you think of one?
Boy
I'm
Meets
just,
World.
Boy Meets World?
no,
Question
we haven't
mark?
verified that.
yeah.
The only thing I could think of is Cronenberg.
I'm just saying this because the guy, the scientist who made the robot, he
Yeah.
literally packed my bag at Target. Like, I got a picture with you. He's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Was
sure.
he still holding the head?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. He's just like, hey.
Hey, look at this,
right,
my thing I
you're
did in
really-
life.
Hey.
Look what I did.
Look
For
what
the
I
record,
did.
we are not speaking ill of anybody who works at a Target or anything like that. So
I love Target.
Yeah.
We love Target.
Shop more, pay less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are
to go.
sponsored today by.
We're
just kidding.
sponsored by Target.
We're
Target
actually
wa-
not sponsored by anybody, so we're
Yeah.
open. Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
we're
we can
open.
say all
Sponsor
sorts of
us.
terrible
I mean,
things.
Yeah.
please.
What can we take a shot at today?
Target.
Target. Let's get back to
We
Target.
actually had a dartboard, fittingly. and
Target.
we
It's in the
hit
name.
Target. Yeah, it's in the name. So now Jason breaks into the lab, and everyone gets away except the professor, Professor Lowe, and who gladly gives Jason back his machete. He's like, "Oh, you just want this, buddy?
Hey
Here you go."
guys, don't worry.
Yeah, he just wanted his machete back. That's all he wanted.
I love that line.
Yeah.
It made me laugh in the theater and made me laugh
Yeah.
last night. Because
it
it's
was
just it
good.
gets like that comedy cut because he's like, here's my machete back. That's it.
Brutally gets murdered.
Oh, by the way,
He
at
was
this
one of
point,
the only deaths that you could hear over the intercom. Or no, not over the intercom. You
Yeah.
could hear it through the halls.
Yeah.
I had a moment too when watching around this time of the film. I had a moment washed over me about the special effects. I put the special effects. It's adorable. But fun fact, Titanic was made not even 5 years earlier at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, but what's the budget? To be fair, what was the budget on this versus a 14? I think this one was 14 million.
Withdrawn.
What's wrong? So the students devise a plan to escape using the shuttle, and so they split up to prepare for their escape. So Waylander and Crutch go to the bridge to set up the launch. Meanwhile, Rowan and the girls head to the shuttle. Unfortunately, Crutch gets killed, and Kinsa, she tries to take off on her own in the shuttle, but immediately crashes. Going back to what Chucky said, goddamn women drivers.
EJ, I'm not even kidding. I swear on anything.
Yeah.
I literally
Is that in your
thought the
notes?
same thing last night.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
What was she thinking? I
I
seriously doubt she's had any experience driving a ship before.
Yeah.
But she was just that like, okay,
yeah.
I guess you're that
She
scared.
just
Yeah.
Was like, I'm gonna get out of here.
Wait.
I'm gonna ditch all my friends and screw it.
In my notes, it's 10:37 p.m.
Love that you're like
You're like
logging-
Rorschach.
Captain's
in,
log.
Watchmen.
10:37.
Captain's log. It's 10:37 p.m. I own this movie on Blu-ray. If Becca left me right now, I wouldn't blame her.
Yeah, that's very Rorschach of you. It feels
I haven't
like
talked to her in a few hours. She may have.
She's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
The city. So KM, the robot, she actually gets an
oh,
upgrade.
wait, here it is. And the notes. Girl crashing ship. Chucky, you goddamn women drivers. There it is. There's the
You
proof.
did write it.
Can verify.
I told you, I swore on things.
So the one nerdy guy, he builds KM, he like reboots her and gives her all these upgrades. She starts to take Jason on, and she's absolutely just like destroys him. She's just shooting him left and right. She's just giving him a bunch of kicks to the face.
Very Matrix-esque, I
Yeah.
would say. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the
Oh,
leather and the
2002.
2002 leather
Yeah,
guns.
So, like,
That
the
was
movie
like-
wasn't that old at that point.
No.
Yeah.
By the way, to me, when I was watching that scene, I thought it was a missed opportunity. They spend all this time showing him, giving her like the upgrades, and she's looking super badass. I would have loved it if Jason just like threw a knife at her, into her, and she just fell over dead.
Well, she
Oh
did.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
wait,
she
wait.
pretended, and
Yeah, I
then
was
she's
gonna
like,
say, she did that.
"Gotcha."
No, but I just wanted it to just be like this huge to do, like this big build up, like
Yeah.
oh, she looks, Jason's gonna get it. He throws a knife and she just drops dead.
So- and then just falls.
He actually hit her one weak spot.
Yeah. Her whole mainframe just like
If he had hit her anywhere else, this
the
has been
student who built this robot had like one weak spot built in, just like the Death Star. It was perfectly sized for a machete, and it went whoop right in.
Ooh, we can make a like a Rogue One kind of
Oh
movie
my
about the
gosh.
student who made.
Made this KM robot.
Yeah,
So, meanwhile,
write to us if you'd like to see that movie.
Yeah.
At
Let's do it.
FREAKQUELPodcast@gmail.com.
As the whole bleeds out and becomes a priority to the safely getting off this ship, the nanotech starts to begin repairing Jason, and because at this point, Cam, when I say blew him away, she literally just blew off one of his legs with a grenade launcher, and then his face blew off his face, half of his head, and literally destroyed him to almost just a torso.
Yeah,
Basically.
his
So
head explodes. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Missing definitely a full arm. Missing a leg below or above the knee. Other leg intact. Machete through the stomach or whatever,
Yeah.
which was the final insult.
And
I
his
like
head.
that. And the head, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a jaw. I think
Yeah.
just left
Yeah.
with the
It
jaw.
was
That's
just like a
It's a
essentially
good
jaw.
moment.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, no way, that's like Jason, the end of Jason.
When I was in the theater, the people who were still awake, I heard them shuffle. So
Like they
there
were
was
getting ready to
excitement
leave?
there.
You thought that they thought the movie was over? They were getting ready to leave?
Yeah, they're like,
or-
oh, we're still
no.
going. All right.
Now, should I just go? Can I just get up and
Jim,
leave?
the band-
It's still going?
It's still going. I don't know.
Oh, he's in this? So anyways, as the whole bleeds out and becomes that priority, the nanotech is like repairing Jason to the point where he becomes like a super shredder looking version of Jason.
So I noticed that like they were trying to rebuild him, but they didn't have enough. So I saw a thing where like they were gonna like rebuild him, and they were putting titanium too into
Yeah.
it. So it wasn't just rebuilding with like skin molecules and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
were really rebuilding him almost Bionic Man style with you know,
Yeah.
metals and things like that.
And at
Yeah.
that point, it's
Evil
10.
gets an upgrade.
It's 10:48 p.m. When I was born, my parents held me in their arms, thinking, "One day this child will grow up, and he'll change the world." Flash forward to 2002. I'm in a theater watching Jason X, my face covered with nacho cheese. That's perspective.
That's perspective.
You turned out great, man. Look at you.
look
Just
at
gotta
you.
get this nacho cheese off my face.
Still on there.
Yeah,
Rory
it's-
gets an upgrade.
Rory's waiting for an upgrade.
So Waylander sacrifices himself and blows up the hole, and he sacrifices himself in a sweater vest, which was really sad to see go. But the explosion, however, doesn't take out Jason, who quickly kills Janessa. He punches like a hole in the wall, and everything's getting sucked out, and Janessa delivers
Another great line.
another great line before you go. Like, this is the line I would say before I died. And this sucks on so many levels.
I'm telling you, this is a very self-aware movie.
Right. And she literally gets sucked out of the ship and through like a small vent.
A grate that she,
Yeah.
a small little hole that was there, and then she pulled the vent off, which created like a little grate for her to be sucked through even more painfully.
Yeah.
And then they were sued by the Alien Resurrection Estate.
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
I've never even seen Alien or Aliens, and as soon as I saw all of those, the grunts, I was like, oh my god, they're copying Alien.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
They're like,
They're not even-
we're going to do aliens
Yeah,
on this.
yeah,
a little bit.
just a
Yeah.
little. Just
You
not
know,
a
like if
lot.
like a first grader wrote Aliens,
Yeah.
we're gonna make that movie.
So, as a distraction, KM and Topher disgrace, because he reminded me of Topher
Topher
Grace.
Grace?
Ooh.
I
There was a
thought-
Sam Rockwell looking guy in this movie too.
Oh, yeah.
I thought what's his name looked like Andrew Garfield, the nerd that
Oh,
built KM.
see, I thought he
a
looked
little bit
like Topher Grace.
You went
a little
Topher
bit.
Grace. I went
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So,
Good thing is we're both in the Spider-Man franchise.
yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
So, they decide to make a hologram of Crystal Lake, which is actually probably one of the funniest parts of the movie.
This blew my mind.
yeah, when he
go
picks
ahead.
up, like-
oh god, the sleeping bags. Yes.
Yeah, the sleeping
Yes.
bags. But even like the girls are like, "Hi, we're teenagers and we like
Premarital sex.
yeah,
I would have loved it if after they
And
said that line,
drugs.
because you know how he says like, "Wow, we love premarital sex," and then it cuts back to the other people, and then it comes back to him. I so badly wanted Jason just to be laying next to them smoking a cigarette.
He's like, "Yeah, I got it."
He's like, "I get it."
I get it now. Hey guys, listen, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Wait, do you see what those
What'd you
ants
think about
did?
that upgrade, baby.
That's what I would have loved that.
So,
Also, if in the VR scene at one point, if Jason did dip his little toes into the lake and just had a moment,
yeah,
But-
looking out into the fake stars, you know,
yeah.
stuff like that, I would love to see ruin a movie.
He's just like just sees like the galaxy.
Yeah,
That would have been interesting.
it would be. Jason's just kind of like,
But-
you know what? I'm always like killing people. I never stop to just look
Take a
around
look.
and appreciate this
Yeah.
beautiful planet that I'm destroying.
And nature itself, he just never stopped to look around Crystal Lake and go, "Wow, it's beautiful here."
Yeah.
That would have been nice, but could you guys talk about beating a human to death with another human
Oh
in a
yes.
sleeping bag?
Oh, yeah,
Of
so
course.
In
Beating
the
to death
hologram.
against a tree.
He starts beating. So the two holograms they climb into this their sleeping bags, and so Jason starts beating another one with the other person, and then
Essentially a sack of potatoes
Yeah.
with another sack of potatoes.
Right.
Now, I ask both of you. I have a 10-year-old daughter. No, 11-year-old daughter. And she came into the room and asked me why I was laughing so hard. So could you guys please explain to me how you would have explained to your kid why you were laughing so hard at beating to death one human with another human in a sleeping bag?
Oh, sure. I would have been like, "Shut up and go get my smokes."
Fair enough. That's not far off from what I said.
That's how I handle it.
Okay.
I'm
What
glad
about
they
you,
took
Rory?
your children away from you. That's all I'm
I
saying.
know.
It's kind of weird.
But at the end of it, so the nerdy guy and the decapitated head of KM and Rowan, they all safely get onto the ship. Meanwhile, the sergeant, he was still alive. He sacrifices himself. He saves the day, and him and Jason, they just burn up in the atmosphere of Earth, like the new Earth or Earth 2.
Solaris 2? Or, no, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I know what
Yeah. And
I love how they call it Earth 2.
Well, what
You know,
happened
it's
to Earth
like-
1?
Well, they explained that Earth 1 was destroyed, but the creativity behind naming your new planet
Earth
Earth
2?
2,
Yeah.
very in line.
very.
How many
yeah.
board meetings do you think?
Guys, what about Earth, hear me out, 2? Oh!
What?
Wow!
This is why he gets paid the big bucks.
We all want to go home, so let's just agree.
Yeah.
Also, last thing in here, it's 11:03 p.m.
I like how this is just like the unraveling of your
Captain's
life.
log.
Yeah.
Just watching.
Yeah, I was having a lot of these like internal thoughts going on.
You're just reflecting on your life.
Reflecting on my
essentially.
life.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 11:03. A lot of people with a lot of promise have lost their lives. This is how I'm spending my time watching Jason,
Jason
X.
Just losing your time.
Their ghosts are shaking their fist at me.
But
saying,
not to
get
men-
up, change the world like your parents wanted you to.
But
Get
but
that nacho cheese off your face.
Wipe that cheese off your face.
But again, not watching Jason X. Watching Jason X again.
To talk about it.
To
on a
talk about it on a
podcast.
podcast.
But we see two campers in a lake, and they're looking up, and they're like, "Oh, a shooting star! Let's go check it out."
Wishing for a sequel that would never come.
Yep. And then
Wait, they didn't make another one after this?
They didn't make Jason
11?
X. No. Well, they made a Freddy vs. Jason, but that's for a different story.
That's different.
yeah,
That's before Jason X, obviously.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. It's a prequel to Jason X, I guess.
Prequel.
What was up with Jason's hair, by the way? Did you notice how much
Prior
hair?
to the upgrade,
Yeah. Did
Okay,
you notice
so-
how much hair he had?
we cruised on past one of my notes, and I was just like, you know what? It's in the rear view. Let it go. But since you bring this up,
Yeah.
I did.
10:02.
I did. This is earlier in the day. It says final Kane Hodder appearance, out with a whimper, of course. The makeup budget was a nickel or so. Looking like a Spirit of Halloween costume in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm being serious. If you go back and you watch part 7, Jason looks incredible.
Yeah.
And he looks really cool. 8, little squishy, still kind of awesome. He's got that real neat looking thing going on in 9 where his like head's growing over the mask and he looks super cool.
Yeah.
And then this one, they were just like, here's a costume. I found pieces of it in my mom's attic. There was a fire. I don't know.
The costume was
It
terrible.
was not very good.
Yeah.
And it's like, you look at his face, and it's the very first time that I ever actually saw Kane Hodder. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Because he always looks like Jason, but those close-ups, I could
Yeah.
see the man underneath the makeup, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It takes
Yeah.
you out of the movie a little
A little bit.
Yeah.
By the way, Kane Hodder's awesome. I love Kane Hodder. But I just felt like I was watching Kane Hodder play Jason. and it
Was
just
there
kinda weird.
is there two Jasons? Was there Jason and then another someone that played Jason after the upgrade, or is it the same guy both times?
Do you mean like throughout the whole franchise?
Well, yes and no. During this
oh, no,
Jason X,
it's Kane Hodder
same
both
guy
times,
both
yeah.
times. So was there going back? Was there a Jason before him, or is this dude been the Jason?
I'm gonna do this for you. Ready?
Go ahead. Hit me.
Okay, we're gonna do a thing. So the first movie, child Jason, Ari Lehman, right?
Ari Lehman.
So then
Wait, you know the names?
I'm going for it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do it. Second movie, played by two people, Warrington
Dash.
Gillette and Steve Dash.
Yep.
Third movie, Richard Brooker. Part 4, Ted White.
White.
He don't show up in part 5, but the faux Jason is played by an actor named Dick Wieand. And then the actual Jason footage, where they make you believe that it's Jason, Tom Morga. Part 6, C.J. Graham. Parts 7, 8, 9, and 10, all Kane Hodder. Ken Kersinger. And then we got on over to the reboot, and we got Derek Mears.
Yep.
If Becca left me today, I wouldn't ask
understand.
questions.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'd get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I met all those actors.
Did you?
I
That's
did.
good.
I have a funny Kane Hodder story. So, I play fantasy football, not
I don't
for
believe
money.
that.
No, this is true. You can ask Rory.
Everything he says is a lie.
I am not a football. I'm not really into football, but I play it, and my currency is actually bets.
Okay.
I love to make bets with people,
So
and not for money.
A gambling
but,
degenerate, or
No, not for money, but for pranks.
Degenerate.
If I win, you have to do this.
okay, I like that.
So one of the things was with my buddy Seamus, if one of us won or whoever lost had to read a poem to Kane Hodder, and it was like a love poem. So he literally had to go up, and me and my buddy Chris Conforti, we wrote the poem out, right? And we took turns on nothing each verse. And he literally went up to Kane Hodder and he goes, and he read the whole poem to him. And Kane Hodder went, "Wow." Want a picture? And he said, "Yeah." So then he got his picture with him.
Right
But
on.
yeah, it was one of the best things
Later
ever.
on, security dragged Seamus out of the convention.
Yeah.
Seamus is on a list somewhere.
Yeah, he's probably he's like, "Oh."
Kane
please
Hodder
don't
lies
get
in
that guy
bed at
up here."
night, gripping a butcher knife, waiting
Yeah.
for that kid to come crawling through the window.
Kid, man. I remember saying, all my life I wanted to be here, and look at me now. It was so stupid. I just remember that was one of the lines. But yeah. So, Rory, do you have anything you would like to plug or talk about before we wrap it up?
The only thing I would plug is Raven View Productions. You can see it on YouTube. You can follow it on the Facebook. You should be seeing some more fun stuff regarding Raven View Productions coming up.
Yeah.
I'll keep my mouth shut about it for now, guys. Oh yeah, we got the Smod Castle Film Festival. Hey, so you're wearing a Smod Castle Film Festival 2022. That is Kevin Smith's film festival. The one film that I made actually got to show there, and EJ was in the movie and everything. Vince
Burden of Beauty.
did some
Sound
Foley
and-
on it and such.
Yeah.
Burden of Beauty.
Burden of Beauty. So I actually have a story that happened recently involving Smod Castle to some extent.
Do tell.
Right. Kevin Smith, right?
Yeah, Kevin Smith, that is his film festival. So I went out to New Jersey about 2 weeks ago, and it was like a Clerks reunion, because I love the movie Clerks, as we all do, right?
Absolutely.
I've had a lot of close calls meeting Kevin Smith over the years, and it's just I've never actually gotten any real good FaceTime with him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's definitely been
Even
one,
all those days that you've spent outside his house waiting on his
just
doorstep,
waiting.
he's
Yeah,
just
I
not
never
there.
get him.
Yeah, okay.
One day, that gate's gonna open, and I'm gonna run in there. Those big giant golden gates. But no, I always wanted to meet him. I've met a lot of really cool filmmakers over the years, even Wes Craven and John Carpenter, people like that. But Kevin Smith's always been on my list because he has that distinction of being one of those very early filmmakers for me that really inspired me to actually want to start writing scripts.
He did it with nothing.
He did it with nothing. Well, actually, it wasn't Clerks. It was actually Mallrats. Because I remember seeing Jason Lee's character, Brody Bruce, the way he would articulate himself and how passionate he was about comic books made me feel kind of more comfortable with myself being so weird about movies and just being so obsessive. But the very first time I wrote a script, I was probably very young at this point when I saw this movie. It was a long time ago. And I just wanted to focus on writing characters who spoke fun dialogue, So that, obviously, I don't know whatever happened to that script. But over the years, I kept writing and writing and writing. But it did start probably there. It was like some mix between Kevin Smith and like Kevin Williamson movies, you know.
Yeah.
But finally, I get out to New Jersey and I stand in this line and I'm waiting to get in there and to talk to him. And finally, I walk through this little curtain.
All
and he's
these years
just-
later?
All these years later, he's just sitting there. And yes, he looks glorious.
Yeah, and
There's
you
like
finally get to talk
there's
to him.
like lights from heaven shining down
Yeah,
on him.
I got it.
So I walk up to him and I tell him that same nonsense I just rambled off to you guys, and how he had a big impact. I told him about how the movie played at his film festival, and he was super gracious. And I told him all sorts of very wonderful things that he's
Flattering
done.
things, yeah.
Flattering
Yeah.
things. And he was just as nice as you'd want him to be. I got a hug from him,
A lot of people say you don't want to meet your heroes.
but you want to meet Kevin Smith.
Sometimes you meet your heroes and they live up to every expectation you have of people.
I told
And that's I'm happy for you that you got that experience and he didn't let you down. I didn't
Yeah.
think he'd
Yeah.
let you down.
No.
but
Yeah,
it's
I didn't
nice
think
that
he
you
was
have
going to
that.
let you down.
He,
Yeah.
he gave me a hug, and I gave him a hug back, and I think I held on just a little too long.
That sounds
but
about
it was
right for
okay
you.
because I get one for his hug. But yeah, we met the rest of the cast from Clerks, and they are all just so nice, and like our
Yeah.
photo op is super cool. Jay Muse is exactly how you want him to be. But yeah, the whole Kevin Smith thing was fun. So I saw you walk in with that shirt, and I'm like, thanks for the segue, brother.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
But even like the film festival was so cool, and I had such a good time, and it was crazy because he was there,
Uh-huh.
and I know like right after our movie played, I got tickets to see the movie he was like debuting, so it was cool to see him. He was there, and so was Ming from like Comic Book
Yeah, I
Man.
talked to him that night.
Yeah, me too. He's like, "Oh, you have a movie playing here?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's in Theater 1." He's like, that's awesome."
Wasn't that just like, because I don't think you and I ever really talked too much about it, but it was
Yeah.
it was nifty. Like when you walked into the theater,
Nifty.
nifty guys.
Yeah.
It's coming back. You heard it here.
We're bringing it back, baby.
But it was like weird. I remember I had this moment, like nobody was in the theater yet. I was like the first one to walk into the theater.
Of course you
just
were.
empty theater, yeah.
Yeah.
And you walk through, and it was literally like a movie moment because you spent your entire life wanting to make a movie. You make a movie, and then the first time it's actually shown on a screen
Yeah.
that is literally owned
So-
by one of your childhood.
Heroes.
Yeah.
Heroes,
so-
Yeah.
mentors. Yeah.
I told
that's
him that.
awesome.
I told him when I met him, I'm like, I've been listening to you talk. I've been watching your movies for so long, and it really just feels like I do know you. But like, this is literally my first time that you're aware of being around you. 'Cause
Yeah.
I stalk him. No, just
Still
kidding.
stalking.
But no, it was a lovely experience.
That,
so.
I think
The
that's
whole
the,
night was
the
awesome,
cool
yeah.
thing about entertainment and like with podcasts and with movies and stuff like that is that whoever's listening to us, like a lot of people that listen to this know us, but hopefully we retain some listeners and they're going to get to know us. And the whole thing about podcasting is it's essentially hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
If you're listening, you don't get to talk, but you still get to hang out with people, which I think is nice. And I love talking to you guys. You're
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I love talking with you guys. I
This
love-
was something therapeutic for me. This whole podcast. In all seriousness, I know you guys are used to me just saying nonsense, but no. In all honesty, yeah. All I do is you have no understanding of who I actually am because I speak as like a character. But no, it was cool. Like when I first suggested this thing to you and like the structure of it and stuff, and you got like really like into it, and we started bouncing ideas and stuff. It literally was at a point where I was completely just like burned out, and us just like the three of us just sitting here together and just like goofing on like movies that we love. Like we don't ever really like.
Oh, I
hate on
love
things.
Jason X. Yeah. Like maybe a little harsh.
Yeah.
In the review of it, but like honestly, I love this movie.
Yeah, like,
I love horror movies.
we're not those
yeah.
guys. Like when we watch movies, like we're not sitting there like like that was the worst thing, abomination of cinema. Like even like when we kind of joke in the one episode about Jenna Ortega, like none of us like have any issues with her.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just kind of like you find something that's kind of like
She's
funny and make
America's
each other
sweetheart.
laugh.
We
Yeah.
poke it and we beat
Yeah,
it
we
until
just-
it's a dead horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Of course.
Maybe we're hateful. I don't know. No, but no, it's just but this whole experience for me, like just doing this with you guys, is fantastic, and it's neat that some of the feedback we've been getting has been people being like, "Wow, like that was like really fun. You made my
Decent.
day." Yeah.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
And talking about feedback, did we receive any emails from anybody?
Oh
since
yeah,
our
actually,
first episode
yeah,
dropped?
actually, there's one.
Yes.
I'm gonna
yes.
yeah, I'm gonna pull this up for you guys real
Pull-
quick.
All right.
All right.
Awesome.
We're gonna just bear with us while Rory brings up.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
what do
excited.
you,
Got
do
it.
you want to plug
I got-
something? Oh, you
I got
already
it.
got
Go
it.
ahead. You're
Okay.
there. Have at it.
So, oh, that's weird. Oh, this email is actually from actress Jenna Ortega.
Wow.
Oh no.
How did we get? Okay.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
okay, this is weird. So it says, "Hey, listen to your episode. Thought it was funny?" Question mark. Kind of weird.
Okay.
So there's another one, and it's just a picture of her outside of Three Jacks.
Okay.
There's another photo of her outside my apartment.
Oh.
Oh, maybe she's shooting a movie in the air.
Maybe. I haven't heard anything.
Next picture,
about
she's in my apartment.
Oh.
Okay.
Were you away? Did you need someone to feed your cats, or?
Is that like a location thing?
This next picture, I'm sleeping.
Oh.
She's hovering over my. I'm
She-
gonna just.
She
maybe-
did mention to me that you have a snoring problem, so
Yeah.
you might want to get that checked
I'm
out.
gonna
It might
call
be
the
sleep
cops
apnea.
right now. It's-
Well, reply and say, "Hey, it was nice to meet you. Sorry, I was sleeping."
yeah, you should have woke me up.
Yeah. Big fan. Well, you should have woke me up.
LOL.
So, Vince, how about you? Do you have anything you would like to plug?
I would want to plug Ravenview because that's where we're posting all this stuff from, and I feel like I'd be doing us a disservice if I didn't push this and plug it as much as possible. Also want to plug Rolex watches and Apple products and Acura cars and
For some free samples.
anything Nike we're into. Tesla popped up on my stuff. Yeah, so I mean, any of those. I mean, we are open and we don't care. We'll take anybody's money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
Oh,
oil,
yeah, we have no,
little
like-
oil. I don't care what the size of
No
your oil
standards.
No.
Nothing.
If it hurts kids.
is. Yeah.
Preferably, we would like
we want
companies
that.
that.
Did you not hear me mention Nike and Apple?
Oh, there goes. There goes that.
Wow, we just had got.
Shit,
Wait, guys! Freakquels was just removed from Apple.
I would. Oh, damn it! I didn't even think
Damn
about
it.
that. I would have loved
maybe
some
we'll
free
edit
Apple
that
stuff.
out.
Yeah, we'll definitely edit that out.
I'll just put like a
no,
like
they-
over that part. You should just put like a cowbell.
Yeah,
sign.
don't even worry about it. Apple knows what they're doing.
I would like to plug. I just made an Instagram for us, and
What is
I'm
that?
gonna
Cool.
play put some pictures on there and stuff. But it's FREAKQUELS _ podcast, and so you could follow that. We already got like 99 people following us on there
What?
already. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't even know 99 people.
I know, and I didn't even post. Like I just posted our first episode. That's about it.
Nice.
And a picture of like Evil Dead Rise. But you guys can follow us there on Instagram. We'll share not only like photos of the podcast we're gonna be doing, but maybe even some behind the scenes photos. And
Maybe
stuff
some
too.
feed pics from you, or no?
Nope.
maybe I'll share some of those photos that Jenna Ortega sent.
Oh, that would
Oh,
be great.
okay.
Yeah, let's do that. And then, and then also a quick shout out to my buddy Adam Farley. If you want to follow his music, you can check it out on Spotify or Apple. It's very like poppy.
It's
type
awesome.
Of, it's awesome.
What
Yeah,
is it?
pop rock.
What is his name again?
Adam Farley, like Chris Farley, but
But Adam.
Adam. Yep.
Fair enough.
And then, and Fourth Cut Reviews. That's just like another friend of mine, Chris Conforti, and Seamus, and myself. We kind of do just like goofy horror movie tidbits on there and stuff. So if you want to check that out, yeah.
Rory,
So good.
Do you have anything you'd like to? We were to go through you. I don't
We're
remember.
actually here live at Three Jacks Burger Bar.
What do they make
Yes.
there? What do
They
have?
make all sorts of burgers.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell
And you
me
know what? Even
more.
if like on our daily grind menu, if you're not wild about what's on there, we'll make you what you want.
Nice. Roy, do you have a favorite burger at Three Jacks Burger Bar?
Could you get the gun out of my side, please?
Is it two? Hold on. Let me take the safety off. Now answer my
I
question.
love the East meets Midwest boys at Delicious. I just
Thank
wanna go home.
you. Thank you.
But no, seriously, you guys, if you're in the area of Dunmore, please check out Three Jacks Burger Bar. It is legit the best burgers you'll ever have. No joke.
Very little gun violence.
No gun violence here, except for Vince. He's behind the bar. He has about 12 or 13 shotguns back there.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. No, I think that's great that you're.
It's my
into
second
that.
Second Amendment right.
Yeah.
Oh my
Don't tread
God.
on me.
I thought the right to bear arms were just like bear arms.
Those
and
actually.
I'm waiting for the Great Bear War. That's what I've
me
been
too.
waiting for.
All right, one question before we leave.
Uh-huh.
And this, even if the listeners want to come back and give us their feedback on this, I feel like $1 million. Does that mean cash or male deers? Or male deer? I'm sorry.
I'm gonna lean towards the deer.
That's what I always
half.
thought.
Yeah, I think that's how that goes.
Yeah. When someone says, "Oh, I feel like $1 million," in my mind, I always thought,
You have the power of
Yeah,
1
like
million male deer.
Right.
I misinterpreted it.
So
did you think it was cash?
I thought it was just like 1 million strong Dunmore athletes.
and that you'd rather have that than actual cash.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But for the record of your choices, I'm going deer.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I.
You know why?
always
Because
thought
I
that.
like deer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm dressed as one right now.
And we were talking about it the other day, and someone's like, "No, it means money," and I'm like, "I always thought it was
Just
like,
the animal, the male,
Yeah.
the mammal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know." But guys, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Thank you, Rory. Thank you, Vince.
Anytime.
You can check out Freakquels on really wherever you listen to your podcasts.
I think Amazon. I think Apple. I think Spotify.
Mhm.
I think all of those
iHeartRadio,
things.
even guys, if that's your thing.
Yeah. Wherever you listen to podcasts,
We will be
are
there.
yeah.
Join us.
Join us. But guys, thank you for listening to
No, Ben, seriously, get that gun out of my back.